You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith. Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AFTERBUZZ TV's The Walking Dead After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's The Walking Dead After Show.
Hey everybody, thank you for joining us. As you know, Bing is for doing, and what we are doing is the Walking Dead podcast, Season 2, Episode 10, 18 Miles Out. Before we do anything else, I want to introduce myself. I'm John Comerford. I'm in the Studio B here. Our co-hosts today are Ben Bottomley.
Hi.
And Bill Svitek.
Welcome, welcome.
He's co-hosting and producing, I might add. So, whoa, a big episode, a lot of action this time.
By the way, nicely done.
What's
That's
that?
a great intro.
Oh, well, thank you very much. It just kind of threw it out there. Didn't even rehearse it. Just right off the tip of my tongue. Yeah, big episode today. A lot of action. What do we think of? We had a lot of kills today. It's going to be tough to decide which one's our favorite.
I really liked, just going off of the title, 18 Miles Away.
Right, 18 Miles Out.
18 Miles Out. Obviously that was in reference to them driving out with a kid.
Right, really. I think Ed is his name.
Ed or Randall, I forget.
Okay, well, it's the kid. We're calling him the kid with the messed up leg.
And we kind of get a flash forward dream at the beginning. We thought it might just be a dream, because sometimes they do that. And then coming in after the credits, we come into basically a crossroad.
Right.
So very symbolic. So
yeah.
So for me, I really like that impression, just overall, because everything's at a crossroad in terms of the series. Yeah,
and the thing, we've been looking for this. Obviously, they've been coming to this for a long time now between Shane and Rick. They've got to have the sit-down, the powwow, the tete-a-tete, whatever you want to call it. I love that it happened at the crossroads. Just love the metaphor. But I thought it was a really good scene. I thought that was, but what was interesting to me is, so Rick is really laying it down, doing a really nice job just being matter of fact about it, not being too threatening or anything like that. But did you notice the way Shane was playing it? Well, I'm sorry, the character of Shane, how he's playing it. Wouldn't look at him in the eye, was kind of looking away. I mean, it almost looked like he was hauled into the principal's office.
Like he was being
scolded or something like that. I thought it was an interesting...
Noticed.
I mean, he almost did the equivalent of swallowing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which whenever you swallow, you're like, no, I'm sorry, not swallowing, gulping.
Right.
Gulp.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, crap.
Which was very strange to me, because especially we'd seen him in the last scene when he made the big to-do in the house when they were all in the dining room, and then Rick came back with Hershel and all the other stuff, and he made the big to-do outside and everything, and huffing and puffing and walking around like, strutting and stuff. And I'm going, this is the time, buddy. You want to say something, say it here.
Yeah.
And he just kind of took what Rick was saying, but he didn't. The only thing he really did was kind of apologize for, and explain to Rick how it went down. He confessed. He confessed that I took care of Otis because it was either him or me, and I had to do that in order to save Carl. And I'm still not sure. I mean, I don't buy it. It's not entirely just to save Carl. But go ahead.
Is this more of a show don't tell type of thing in terms of not for the show, but in terms of Shane for saying, you know what, I'm going to show you your errors. I'm going to show you that you're wrong in situations of tough.
How? I don't get that.
So
you're talking about the crossroad. You think by Shane not right? Well, Shane what?
Well, Rick's never really going to believe him about anything that he says, and so he has to, again, Shane is a man of action, a man of doing, and so he has to show that Rick's actions have consequences in the full negative sense, where Shane's actions, while they may not be easy, they keep the group alive, and it's only through action that he can show it, which is why coming
I don't necessarily
into
believe that though.
But in the mid-season break, it was him, going up to the barn door, and Shane was, and then knocking the whole barn down so that
Right.
because he had to do something. Whereas
Right,
'cause
exactly.
Rick
But
wasn't doing it.
Yeah, but he's just, for me, he's just impulsive. I'm not saying that. Well, here's what I think. He didn't have to go down and knock the barn door down and kick it in and shoot all that. He didn't have to do. There are other ways to handle that. But he goes off half-cocked. He doesn't really think things through sometimes, if you ask me, which I think sometimes can put people in more jeopardy. And there are just two ways of going about it. Well, let's say there's tons of different ways of going about it, but that's just the two that they're expressing, Shane's and Rick's ways, but there are plenty others. But even in the whole thing about should we, for instance, should we kill this guy? Well, Rick wants to let him go and all this other stuff, and then he expresses that he knows who Maggie is and all this other stuff. So therefore, now the kid knows where the farm is, and it puts him in jeopardy, etc. And Rick wants to think about it for a night. Shane doesn't care; he just wants to shoot him.
Yeah.
Which is, I certainly understand that. But this is what I think is stupid. They've already seen a couple of walkers. There's nobody around. If you really want to kill him, they just had the talk about, don't use your weapon because you might attract other walkers. He's got a knife. If he really wants to kill the guy, why is he pulling his gun out? It's just like that's not smart. That's stupid.
That didn't make much sense to me.
What's that?
I mean, he obviously fired a shot or two. And then
the kid was tied up. If you really wanted to kill him, why shoot the gun? Why waste the bullet? My point. And secondly, why call attention and have all the walkers come?
But
my
the
question
walkers, that's what didn't make sense to me.
Because
that's
the shot fired and none of the walkers woke up until the pipe wrench goes through the window.
Well, let me ask you this. I mean,
I didn't even know walkers slept.
They apparently don't.
Yeah.
We talked about this on another show that you actually host, but you weren't there for this. But it was basically the difference between a sociopath and a psychopath.
Right.
And a sociopath is someone who's, they're insane, but they don't necessarily have a high intelligence. Mm-hmm. They're impulsive, and they kind of cling on to very few people. Mm-hmm. Now, this sounds kind of like Shane, because he clings to Andrea. He's, we saw that one scene where he was trying to get with Carol, not literally, but in terms of comforting her. And then obviously he's very impulsive, and I don't think he's that smart. He never has like a full laid out plan. It's just all impulse and emotion. Yeah, which is usually anger.
Yeah, that's the archetype he's playing. I mean, this is the thing that bothered me about one of the couple of things that bothered me about that. First of all, I like the episode, but it bothered me. They just had the conversation. Don't waste bullets. And they just use your knife so that you don't attract other attention. And in the very next scene, he's shooting a gun. Yeah. And it's like, what are you thinking? So I mean, they just went through the trouble of killing the guards and not shooting them.
Well, let me ask you this.
So it doesn't make any sense.
Well,
And secondly, if he shot the gun, why didn't that wake up the walkers when a pipe wrench going through a window did? It just didn't make any sense.
Well, let me ask you this. I mean, it was. There was a lot of questions in this episode, and that's not necessarily bad. We'll obviously talk about the field and all that, but as we talked about the crossroads scene, there was a lot of emotion in Shane's face. Now, when you're talking about the knife incident, the stabbing, Rick, we see Rick, and then he says, "Your turn, Shane." Because there's one more, and we don't see Shane's. We kind of get his reaction, but we don't see him do it.
We don't see him do it. So I don't. Go ahead.
But the question that arises then, obviously they made that choice to make that happen, and so is it Shane just literally disagreeing with? Because Rick says, shooting someone is easy. Mm-hmm. Now do it the hard way. Is that sort of Shane's response to it, and saying like, what, shooting someone isn't as easy as you might think.
Shane saying that?
Yeah. So obviously subconsciously too.
Well, Shane later on in the episode, Rick says it's not easy to shoot someone.
Yeah.
And he says because he knows that Shane has.
Yeah.
So I don't know. He already knows that Shane knows it's difficult to shoot somebody.
Yeah.
I don't. What was weird was it was almost like it was weird. I know he's kind of trying to reestablish his position as the alpha, and they got it that you're going to pay attention to and take orders from, etc. But it was weird that Rick said your turn. It's almost it's weird. Okay, here I've done it. I've shown you how. Now here you do it. So see if you learned how to do it.
Were they kind of playing a game it wasn't tit for tat. That's totally different. But I don't know, how would you if you had to give it a name? that for the action that Rick was doing. What was it, like, basically rise to my level if you want my position or something like that?
Yeah, or something, or I don't know. It didn't make sense to me again. I was like, what's? It was the weirdest the way he handed it off. And here, okay, your turn. Like, let's see if you can do it. Like he didn't know how to put a knife in the zombie's head. It was odd, and then they didn't show it, and I thought that was a poor choice too. It was like, I want to know how Rick was it easy for him? Did he have no problem doing it, or did he say, hey, yeah, okay, see, boom, I can do it too, so big deal. What did you prove? Yeah, I wanted to see that moment, and we cut away from it, and I thought that was not. I mean, there are a couple times in this season that's really. I really felt like they, like for instance, when Shane kicks down the barn doors. I know we've talked about this before. I'm going to go back to it real quick. Kicks down the barn doors. He shoots at every walker coming out of it. The one he doesn't shoot is the little girl. And instead of Shane, I thought it would have been much more powerful if Shane put the gun up to the little girl and then couldn't shoot her, and then Rick had to do it. But they didn't even. They didn't even show Shane thinking or even trying to shoot her. So you missed that opportunity to show that. And this is the same kind of thing. You're missing opportunities, I think, when you don't show how those guys are reacting with each other.
Yeah, especially the way it was so set up. That's what the scene led up to. That was the climax, and that the resolution should have been whatever the outcome was. Yeah. Which, I mean, obviously, correct me, fans, if I'm wrong, but Shane obviously did it. There's nothing to prove that he didn't.
Yeah, I mean, otherwise, the guard was dead, so we can only assume that he did it, but... Not that I needed to see another walker killed. That would have been fine. It's just that, more importantly, character-wise, what happened between the guys as it happened? Was there, it's to pull away from it, though. It doesn't help you any.
It kind of wasted all that time there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why bother having the setup if you're not going to follow through on it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the other thing was, if he killed that guy with a knife, the walker with a knife, why does he go off in the next moment using his gun? It doesn't track.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's hard to kill someone living.
Well,
but not for
Shane. Or maybe that's the point. Maybe the point he's trying to say is, it's easy with a gun because you've done it a couple of times. Go ahead and do it up close and personal. But I don't really buy that either.
I think it all would have made much more sense to us if we just saw it happen.
Yeah, that's that would have been more interesting. No, not with a gun. Like we just talked about it. If you want to go kill him, go use your knife. That would have been interesting. Because now I got to see Shane. He has to be up close. It's a lot easier with the gun.
Yeah, and I mean, what did you think of the scenario once the walkers did come out? Was it kind of a reminder of Otis and Shane, or was it a different scenario for you guys?
No, I thought it was. It was. Obviously reminded me, the look of it, the whole thing reminded me of it.
It reminded me, yeah, but it seemed to me like I don't know. I thought that Rick was more in Shane's position last time.
This time.
Do you know what I'm saying? This time?
Yes.
Yeah.
Comparing it. Yeah.
And I think that's why Shane had that look on his face when he was in the bus and he saw them running away.
Well,
because that's what he did.
He did. They're leaving him behind so they can get back, but...
Exactly. So they're leaving him here as a sacrificial lamb, so to speak. And, of course, in his head, we always do that. We always project. So he's thinking, well, that's what I did, so that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
So,
nope.
And what was nice about that is there you do get to see the difference between the two men.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And if we lived by Shane's way of doing things, Shane would be dead.
Yes.
Secondly, had we lived by Shane's way of doing things and he killed the kid, Shane would be dead.
Still be dead. Yeah.
Because they needed the kid in order to save Shane. So there's that impulsive thing that doesn't always. I mean, there are times for it and you need it. But there are a lot of times when you need to, think it through, man. Get a plan. Figure it out. Use your brain. So.
Team Rick.
Exactly.
This is completely random thought. Would it have been more powerful? I know in the previews they kind of put stuff that will remind you to make stuff more relevant for the episode. Should we have kind of seen that in the teaser? Like, here's what happened last week on Walking Dead. Even though it's not really last week, they kind of pull from this, any episode prior.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
I mean, which part? Showing Otis?
Otis and all that.
I thought it would have been interesting. The other thing is, I might have... the fact that they used the kid was pretty cool, only because they're going to bring the kid back to the farmhouse, whatever. But it would have been way more interesting character-wise if the kid wasn't involved and Rick had to save Shane on his own.
Yeah.
Because then I mean, that's a great parallel scene. Here's how Shane did it. Shane shot Otis to get away to save Carl. Now you would have seen the same thing, but have Rick make a different choice rather than have to use the kid, because the kid kind of dilutes that.
Well, speaking of the kid, I mean, how does you know, him knowing about Maggie's farm? Do you think that's how Tony and Dave knew? And I mean, you know, how does his involvement with that camp sort of fit in?
I don't know.
I mean, obviously it's a great twist.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
But I'm just trying to figure that out.
Yeah, I don't know if Tony and Dave knew specifically about the farm, but about where that farm, or if it was Maggie's farm, but they obviously knew there were farms in the area, etc.
Maggie's farm.
Yeah.
Maggie's. Well,
I ain't working on
Hershel.
Maggie's farm no more.
So, but I thought it was a great twist. I thought the fact that he said it was nice. You know, it's like, ooh. As soon as he said it, I went, ah, damn. What are you?
Yeah.
I thought they would have shot him right then.
And you know what's nice about that? I mean, so you could, you know, one can argue that it's convenient writing to just put that in.
Yeah.
But it's not, because it's convenient if your main characters kind of get away from something easier.
Yeah,
this
exactly.
Is
This
thickening
forces
their plot.
exactly. It forces them to take him back. It forces them to now have to deal with it, as we saw in the upcoming episodes, excuse me, that they're going to have to deal with it, and that's really going to fracture them, or the potential for that group to be really fractured, because, you know, there's going to be a bunch of people that say, no, you can't do this, a bunch of people that say, no, we have to do this.
Yeah.
So, and there are grave consequences both ways. So, and
True
that's
that.
what you want. You always want to put them in the worst possible position, so that all their decisions are difficult.
Yeah. Your main characters should be the most unluckiest people on Earth.
Exactly.
And your antagonist, the most luckiest people on Earth.
Everything should fall their way.
So,
Yeah. So,
which it is so far.
Yeah. So the other part of that sequence was, would you have? So the question is, would you have killed him? The kid.
No.
That's not what you said earlier.
Nope, but no.
Alright,
If I killed him,
Yeah.
then I'd be dead.
That's yeah, but so until you knew that, he'd have been dead.
Yes.
All right.
Well, I mean, I don't know. That's kind of difficult to say, because I've never killed someone.
I didn't really buy the argument that he was putting him in jeopardy. I know that, you know, Shane and a couple of people's argument is, once he finds his people, once he gets back to his people, he's going to lead him back to us. And I just, first of all, he's got to find his people.
Yeah.
And I understand, okay, but, you know, why take the chance and everything like that? But I didn't really see that was that huge a possibility. It didn't seem like a great argument to me. So for me, it would have never been in doubt. No, I wouldn't have killed the kid.
Yeah.
It just didn't seem like a good enough argument.
I mean, again, the odds are stacked against him, and I think if he got back to his camp, like, let's just move on.
Yeah. So, okay, here's the thing, guys. There may be some farm out there somewhere where some people may have been, and I think they may have killed our people.
In this 20-mile radius.
Exactly. I'm not exactly sure how to get there. I don't know if they'll still be there. I don't know if the farm will be worth it. I don't know if we'll be calling with walkers. Let's all go get it.
Yeah.
I just don't buy that that's gonna happen. Especially
Well, they are in the South, and you know, from reading Huckleberry Finn, people love their feuds.
Yeah.
And that sounds like a feud to me. So.
That's the Hatfields and the McCoys.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. Yeah, I just didn't think a kid would be able to convince his entire group of people. Let's go get them.
I mean, again,
Yeah.
watch Huckleberry Finn, if nothing
Yeah.
else, the movie, and it's like, so wait, y'all don't know why you're feuding? Well,
Yeah.
one guy killed another guy, and then
Yeah.
we killed
No,
his guy, and
clearly.
then generations so
Yeah,
on and so
I
forth.
just, but the idea that we're gonna pack everything up, try to, you know, make our way through all the walkers just to get to people that might be there, might not be there, and we don't really have any kind of, yeah, it just didn't make sense.
Plus, I mean, you know, in terms of Tony and Dave, they already talked about that they've been to these sort of safe havens,
Yeah.
right?
They've been in all kinds of places, and they all proved to be fables.
Yeah.
So.
The farm is a fable as well.
Yes. That's the metaphor. So, would you have killed the kid?
No.
Yeah,
I think he's a little shit. He's not
Yeah.
gonna do anything. Scared and nervous.
Yeah.
Glenn might have.
Glenn might have taken him out.
Well, because he said Maggie, and
Right, that's true.
we know he has issues about
Yes.
that.
So okay, so did you have any problem with the fact that the walkers woke up with the pipe wrench being through the window, but not from a gunshot, and all the fighting happening outside the window?
No, well, no, I didn't really have a problem with it. The glass shattered, you know, that allowed them for opening sunlight could have gotten in their eyes. I don't know. I don't know what the thing is.
Yeah, it's. I just.
So,
Here's the thing. That's what
It
bugged me
did
because it
bother
was
me.
just. It just seemed lazy.
Yeah.
You could have done it a better way, and that just seemed lazy. You have a gunshot. A gunshot's going to be not as disruptive as a pipe going through a window, a pipe wrench going through a window. Now, here's the thing. I get that the window crashed, and therefore they had an exit from the building. But we've seen them like crazy when blood is there. They're at the doors like crazy,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden nothing.
Yeah. And it's not like they don't try to get through these
Yeah, they
things.
try to
Like,
get out.
Season 1, they were at the door to the store for like
Yeah.
hours.
I mean,
So
you
the
know-
way they were trying to push through that bus door. I mean, come on, they're not pushing through a window.
I think at this, it'd be really nice to kind of see these zombies. It's one thing to not know the rules of zombies in a movie because
Mhm.
you're there only for an hour and a
Right.
half to maybe 2 hours, perhaps longer, but around that time. Whereas this, in theory, we could be spending 7, 8 seasons with these people.
Yeah.
So you would want to think that they want to learn as much about the zombies as
Right.
possible, and so they want to figure out, okay, how do the zombies? You know what I mean?
Right. Well,
It's kind of like Hitler understanding the Jews. Learn there you go. Terrible metaphor.
Wow.
I went there.
No,
But you
okay.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
You want
No,
to
I
learn how
agree.
they think.
And not only that, but I mean, we saw it earlier when they killed the guards and they were looking for there's no bite marks. Oh, it must have been a scratch. I mean, that's something I hadn't heard.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I thought the fact that the only way it could get transmitted was through eating or
Yeah.
biting. I didn't know a scratch could do it.
Well, obviously.
Oh,
Duh.
sorry. Yeah, duh.
God.
So I mean, so we're still discovering the rules.
Yeah.
So they should. I would imagine if this is in your life, meaning this is the gravest threat to your life, you would want to try to know everything you could about it to survive.
Yeah.
Especially if you're a cop.
Not if you're in Alabama or Georgia, sorry,
Uh-huh.
where the solution is just kill them as many as you can.
Kill them on
Oh.
site.
Yes.
Okay.
Don't learn them, just kill
Just
them.
kill them.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, okay.
Am I
But
right?
wouldn't
Right.
you want to learn that? Okay. Well, the fact that blood attracts them, that's a good thing to know.
That is.
Well, they do know that.
Well, and that's my point. Is they should know as much as they can so they can help use that information to help them survive.
Yeah. No, I mean that's why I brought up because obviously I agree.
Yeah.
So.
All right, but was there any? Here's the thing. I loved all the action. I thought that was a lot of fun. The only thing that was driving me crazy is every time they cut back to it, it was almost like, Shane's been in that truck for 20 minutes now, because they kept on going, and I just wanted to be more taught.
Mhm. I didn't have a problem with that.
Well, I
In
mean,
terms of the go ahead, Ben.
sorry. I mean, I agree. The action was broken up with like Maggie and her sister.
Yeah,
And
and
I was like, "What? You're really taking me out of the Shane scene." And then when he comes back to the bus, I was like, "Oh, you're still here? Okay.
Yeah.
Just get out now."
Well, I mean,
It's not too hard.
it would have been one thing if the tension built,
Yeah.
like in that scene, and both got progressively quicker and quicker.
that's what
You
I
know
was.
what I
Yeah,
mean?
that's what I mean. Just taught her. I mean, it wasn't like I mean, all the stuff was great. I just think that they could have made that much more tense and much more anxious and all that kind of stuff. All right, so can we move on? Since
Well, we got to talk about the guy in the field. Or
Oh, okay,
Walker,
great,
or whatever.
great, all right,
that's
great.
the thing to end on with this conversation
Yeah.
about Shane and Rick.
that sounds good. So they're driving out to the 18 miles out. They driving by a field that Rick's just talking about. I can't even remember what the hell he was talking about.
It was just some
Just some
story.
stuff. And Shane's not even paying attention. He's just looking out in the field, and there he sees a walker just stumbling through a field.
And obviously, that is symbolic of insert smart.
Obviously, what is it?
Well, yeah. The only thing I thought of is, it was. I really don't know what they were going for in that. My intuition was something like Shane realizing that I'm, if I don't fall in line here, I'm alone. I'll be out on my own in the field.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but we saw it twice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Both after Rick giving him a talk about how
Yeah.
you need to just
The whole thing-
accept the situation.
Yeah, but
and
it's my
just
wife,
trust
my
me.
kid, my unborn child, all that other stuff, and if you need to accept that now if you want to be
Mhm.
part of this, which I thought was it just
And that, so he's now isolated from the group, isolated from obviously the family that he
Uh-huh.
hoped to be a part of.
right.
Is that what that means?
That's the only thing I can guess is that if I have to sit here and eat all that, I have a better chance of surviving. And what he said to Rick was the only right decision is the one that keeps us alive. And that's why I'm pointing to that, because the right decision is to stay together as a group because you have a better chance of surviving. Because out there, I'm alone, and who knows what's out there. I think that's what they were hinting at. So if Shane is to follow through on his logic, then the right decision is to stay.
Yeah, and shut up.
And shut up.
And take.
And take it, and eat it, and follow mine.
And then you see the preview for next week.
And then he goes like right against it.
Yep.
So...
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree with you. I think in terms of coming to any conclusion, it sounds.
But I would love to hear what other people have to say about what that represented. I think that'd be very fascinating.
Yeah, I mean, ironically, we checked some message boards in between doing this and having watched the show, and people were obviously talking about the fight and things like that, but not really this specifically.
Yeah.
So, but if you're listening, let us know.
Yeah, let us know. Send us a call. Drop us an email, whatever. Good fight scene, though. That was pretty good.
Yeah.
It's pretty impressive. Nice. Is that a long time coming? We've been saying that, when is this going to happen?
Yeah.
And I thought it was great that it happened out there. Would have been nice to have in front of everybody. That would have been interesting because you could see if people were rooting for one guy or another. That would have been interesting.
Like the old gladiators.
Exactly. It was like, get him, Rick. That would have been because that really could have fractured everybody. But of course, Rick's probably too smart for that. I'm sure that's probably why he had it outside.
Well, we've got a home fight.
That's right, a home fight between Lori and Andrea.
We do.
I don't know, man. This was weird. First of all, the fight, it was strange for me. Every time he cut back to the house, it just felt all the energy just kind of like stopped. And those scenes could have been, for me, first of all, I liked them. I thought they were a great idea. They just... I don't know what it was. They just slowed things down too much, and there was too much time spent there. Or they could have been. I don't know, but it was. I wanted them to be more intense.
Mm-hmm. I mean, obviously, what I liked about it. I mean, I guess they did it timing-wise to try to parallel exactly what was happening with Shane and Rick.
Yeah.
And we were spending a lot of time with Shane and Rick, so just if you draw, dot it out in terms of timeline on a board, they wanted to make sure they spent the same time with Shane and Rick,
right,
as they did with Andrea and Lori, and obviously Shane and Rick, same kind of principles with Lori and Andrea because she is Shane and Lori is Rick.
Yeah, but I think the little miscalculation in my mind, just because for me as a viewer, I don't know this young lady.
Which one?
The one who was in bed. I don't even know her name.
Beth.
So Beth, is that what it is? Thank you.
Yes.
So it was hard for me to really, be concerned about her because I don't really know her. I have no connection to her.
Yeah, but she's a MacGuffin. Who cares?
But that's the point. Is they tried for me? There was like you're trying to make me care about this person, and you haven't made me care for weeks, so I don't care about her right now.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think it would have been interesting, for me. It just, but and I'm sure I'm probably in the minority. So you guys tell me how you felt about it, but. That's what it was. That's what was missing for me in the scenes. I thought it was great that Lori knew. I thought that was really cool. That was a nice little reveal. There's no knife. Boom, she goes in. Hey, give it to me. That kind of thing. You get the knife, which is great. And then you have the argument between the two gals, between Lori and Andrea. And I thought that was, it was again another scene that you really wanted to have, and you needed to have. It just went on too long, and it was like I've heard the argument before.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, I really want to reuse characters as much as possible to throughout these arguments. So, we haven't seen T-Bone in a while.
Yeah.
And I was
really going, where is he?
Yeah. So I mean, I really would have liked to see, why did T-Bone get suicidal?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Especially with so much happening.
Right.
They have their own thoughts and opinions on this. We don't need the girl to I don't know. Do I mind it? Not really.
Yeah.
But.
Well, I think the part that was best about this was the fact that Andrea made that choice to open up the door. I mean, I was just amazed. I'm going, oh my God, Maggie, do not let her watch your sister. This is bad news. I really.
What did you said you let the fox into the chicken?
Yeah, you let the fox guard the hens. My goodness.
Yeah.
I mean, after that conversation and I really didn't think. I said, Andrea's not gonna do. She's not gonna make it easy for her, is she? I mean, that is bold and ballsy. Yeah, go ahead. I mean, I understand her argument. I don't agree with it, but I understand her argument. You know, I mean, that's just that. I thought that was a great twist of. You know, I wasn't expecting it. Were you expecting her to do that and leave her unattended?
No.
I did. You know, I understand the argument. Yeah, you know, the person has to make their choice. I completely understand. You want to let the person make their own choice. I get that, but the reason why you don't in those because they're in such a fragile state of mind. They're not in their right mind to make the choice.
Yeah. That's
the whole point of somebody who's suicidal. They're not in the right mind at the moment. Usually.
Well, what I didn't like, you know, I like the idea of Lori versus Andrea, but I just didn't like as you said, we were kind of going back to the same argument.
Yeah.
You know, as a character for Andrea, I thought, okay, you moved on from this in terms of,
you
know, the gun and things like that.
Right.
Like, okay, you know, we've been there as an audience through that journey.
Yeah, but you know, I think what they were trying to go for, and you guys tell me what you think, because I think what they were going for, she was not only, she was trying to prove that she was right, and that I'm right about this. You have to let people make their own choice. Yeah. I think that's what she was trying to do, and she's trying to say, watch, I'll show you. I'm going to leave her alone, and you'll see. And even at the end, when she comes running up to the house and she's talking to Maggie, how is she? How is she? Is she okay? She said, well, yeah, she's gonna live. The cut wasn't so deep. She, oh, good, she's made her choice. Then she wants to live, and in her mind, because the end result was right, yeah, she was right. And an argument could easily be made for, well, she was,
yeah,
because she's proven. And you know, even Lori had to give up that. You know, look, I don't agree with what she did, but she has made her choice, and now she knows she wants to live, so you won't have to worry about it anymore. But that's typically not the case. Typically, it's not like. You are going to have to worry about it. If they've had the thoughts, they're still going to have the thoughts. They don't go away.
That's true. Ben, what do you think?
I agree.
Thank you.
And here's the thing. You're going to put somebody's life at risk because you want to prove a point? What if it didn't go her way? What if she actually killed herself? Oh, shoot,
well, then,
I was wrong.
Then she made
I was wrong.
No, but either way, it would have been kind of a win-win situation for her, though, right?
For Andrea?
For her, yeah.
Yeah,
why?
because
her point was you have to let them decide.
Right.
Yeah, and so if she
either
kills
way,
herself, then that was her choice.
Decision.
That was, yeah. Sure, she gets okay.
I mean, it's a terrible win, but
that's my point. You want to be right, and you're gonna do it by letting somebody else kill themselves. I don't really think that's a win.
That was the choice she
I get
made.
to prove I'm right because somebody see, I'm right. She killed herself. I was right all along.
That's a win.
You have to let them. You have to let them.
That's
but the point is,
in my book.
Yeah, but how do you get past that? How do you get past the point? Look, if somebody's going to kill themselves or have suicidal thoughts, that's against nature, because we have such a a strong instinct, survival instinct. So in some, you could make the argument that way that a suicidal thought is against nature. So something's weird, something's not quite right in the brain chemistry there, or the thought process, or the emotional health of the person. So why let them make a choice in that moment, or at least help them through that moment? As they say, it's a permanent solution to a temporary problem.
I have no rebuttal.
I mean, I agree with you. I
just think of it, but first of all, hats off. I'm glad she made it. Makes great TV. I love that she said that she did it. I think it's crazy that she did it. But in terms of watching the show, it's like, damn. And it makes great conflict. So you got to love that part of it. But I was really shocked that Lori said, well, hey, I didn't agree with her, but she's kind of right. I was stunned by that.
So is now this the established rule for all future?
Yeah. Just let them do whatever they want. Yeah. I mean, and the hard part is I don't disagree with the idea that people have to make their own choices. I agree with that. I just don't think you let somebody in a diminished capacity do it.
Well, I think so. Does this bring up a greater thing? Like, we're kind of whatever society we had pre-established. Whether it be Shane's order or Rick's order, now we're throwing out the window and we're going to anarchy. You know what I mean? Because if we're allowing these people...
Well, that's what we're headed for. I mean, based on the previews the next week, we're headed for anarchy.
Yeah. So,
and
in the grander scheme of things, that's kind of that symbolism.
And we should. I mean, if you're watching this show, I mean, that's you want it. I mean, I think that's what makes for a great show. There's a lot of conflict there, a lot of drama there. You know, what kind of people are we going to be now that in this environment?
Mm-hmm.
Are we going to have some sort of rule of law, some sort of human rights, or are we just going to be anarchical and, you know, right makes right, and, you know, the survival of the fittest? I mean, that's the whole show's, you know, that's what we're always bouncing between.
Yeah.
So, but I thought it was great stuff that she did it. I thought it was, you know, thought it was great that they actually had the kid try to commit herself, but not. So, because that's gonna add some more grist for the mill, I think. You know.
Good actress. Good actress. That was a question followed then by a statement.
Yeah. Thank you. But that was good for me. I mean, what did you think about when Maggie was talking to her? That whole thing.
It looked like Maggie was kind of, to me, having second thoughts about the whole thing and thinking, well, maybe she's right, but obviously not.
Yeah. I thought it was, you know, I just want to die here tonight in bed with you. It's just like,
that was
weird. Here's the other thing I thought was weird. She calls out the sister. Beth calls out, hey, you know, who's gonna save? We're alone. Who's gonna survive? Keep us safe. Glenn. I know. I heard about someone. So whatever she was going through, whatever sort of semi-catatonic state she was in, she heard everything.
Yeah.
So it's like, what? She was aware of everything? Oh wow. Okay.
Good ears.
Oh. Yeah.
I didn't pick that up.
I mean, in terms of Maggie, I like how they're putting all this pressure on her as a character. She's dealing with the Glenn thing, now the sister.
Yeah.
So.
And coming to her dad's defense.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. So yeah, she's been put in a tight spot.
It's no longer Hershel's farm. We're back to Maggie's farm,
Maggie's
but I ain't
farm.
working on Maggie's farm no more. I'm telling you that right now. For those of you listening and don't know that reference, it's a song.
Yeah.
Covered by many, many bands.
You gonna sing it for us, Phil?
No.
Okay, good.
One of the verses is,
Thank
I ain't
God.
working on Maggie's farm no more, though. So, in terms of the Glenn, and we didn't see Glenn, right?
No,
This
we didn't
episode?
see. We only.
There was a lot of characters we didn't see.
We didn't see Glenn. We didn't see Dale, T-Dog, Daryl, Carol.
Carol.
They rhyme.
You know, but I really wish he was here.
Who's that? T-Dog or Daryl? Which one?
No, Glenn.
Oh, Glenn. I beg your
Glenn.
pardon,
I
Glenn.
want. You know, I want to know. I mean, that was a big thing to leave her on. And you know, what is he up to? What is he contemplating in the world?
Yeah, I thought that was, you know, that's one thing that I thought was, you know, obviously they didn't have any of those characters, but why? You know, could easily have brought Glenn into this and made it, you know, it could have added drama and conflict.
What do you think? Is he pro-life or pro-choice?
Who, Glenn?
Yeah.
Oh, the whole suicide thing?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Well, good for you guys.
Okay.
I don't have a feeling one way or another.
Yeah.
I haven't got any kind of feeling on that.
Is there anything else you guys want to talk about?
No, those were the things I wanted to cover. Oh, we didn't go through zombie kills yet.
Yeah, let's do that.
We did.
Well, we didn't talk about our favorites.
Well, we had, I think it was 4.
Yeah.
4 brain, no.
4 knives in the
5
head.
5 brain stabbings.
Brain stabbings are nice.
Yeah.
There
Yes.
are 2 that are, I think deserve really
Zombie-wise, not actual stabs, because
Yeah,
as we
exactly,
know, Rick
Savvy.
made sure to stab the shit out of one of them.
Yeah.
That was not
No, that
Rick,
was Ed.
That was Ed.
The kid.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was going like 5 or 6 times.
That was a pretty good one.
That was nice.
Then of course Rick, he shot 2.
Shot through one into the other.
Shot through one many times.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you saw,
Yeah.
but there was a really big hole in the back of his head, and you could see the barrel of his
Oh, no, I
revolver.
missed that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Um,
Good camera work.
And
Or
then-
CG, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know if the one that was lying on the ground was already dead.
Oh, the driving
But
by.
they ran
He
over
wasn't
his head.
already dead because we saw him moving
Oh.
as they were driving over.
Yeah, he
They
got
were headed back. Yeah.
He got squished.
So for me, there was those 2. It was impressive.
Yeah.
So yeah, the 2
I'm gonna say
shot through the head and then driving over the other one.
That was pretty good.
It's like, oh,
Because
damn.
I love, like, you see the first wheel go over and you're like, wow, he got messed up. And then the second one, oh, okay.
Wow, he really got messed up. I mean, and you know, in that I went right to the technical aspect of it. I go, God, how did they do that? I mean, that looked, you know, I wonder if that was CG, if they created some sort of fake skull and, you know, put whatever in it, slime, and then drove over, because that was really quite gruesome and very impressive.
I think to their credit, it's a mixture of both, probably. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, the best results in terms of any of that stuff is build it first, get the base, and then just add on to it with
yeah, I would imagine.
digital
it has to be, especially like the shooting through the head and all that other stuff. You gotta have some good stuff there. So those were the.
Although Avatar did apparently well, so.
Yeah, that's true.
So one way or the other, as long as the result's good, I don't care how it's.
It's true.
But in this case, I think it is a show that would opt to do it as much in camera as possible.
Just in terms of budget,
that's what they
time.
Yeah, from what I've read, they tend to. They prefer to not use, or what am I trying to say? They prefer to have real, like, physical things
so practical
to work with.
Images rather than CG images.
They use CG where they have to.
Yeah.
Like when they need incredible amounts of zombies or just sets and stuff, or because I'm pretty sure there are laws saying you can't have like squibs on people that aren't stuntmen.
Oh.
So some of the blood splatter they will for budget purposes they'll go and do it digitally.
Right.
It's
good to know.
To hire a stuntman.
But that's what's impressive about it anyway. Just doing all that practically is just technically it's an impressive feat.
It is.
All right, I got nothing else. You got?
Nope.
What do you got, Phil?
I got a commercial.
Right on. Let's do it.
AfterBuzz TV.
Hi, I was once like you, a lazy, angry loner whose only joy was watching TV and surfing the net. And, like you, after I'd see one of my favorite TV shows, I'd be so excited and have so many questions that I'd actually have to talk to my douchebag coworkers about it at the water cooler. Then I discovered AfterBuzzTV.com. AfterBuzz TV produces after-show webcasts and podcasts for TV series of all kinds, like post-game wrap-up shows for all your favorite TV shows. AfterBuzz TV hosts are industry insiders who break down episodes of shows, take calls from fans, and interview cast and crew from each series, with over 60 different after shows, from Boardwalk Empire to American Idol to Vampire Diaries to Real Housewives, and more. Now, after a night of TV, I can ignore my stupid coworkers, who I hate, and go straight to my desk and watch or listen to all my favorite AfterBuzz TV after shows, and have all the TV fan interaction I need. Thank you, AfterBuzz TV.
AfterBuzz TV. What do you want to buzz about?
Well, welcome back, Ben. You read a little bit of the book that we've been teasing for weeks. And now the only reason why we haven't done it yet is because, for those of you listening, it is sweeps month, and that is basically all. It's time for ratings, and it's time for basically evaluation. It's almost like evaluation for TV, and it's not only that; it's also Oscars, and we just broadcast 10
Oscar shows
from the gifting suites for the Oscars. So. And I used Ben heavily on the boards that day.
Right.
So Ben was tired.
Yeah, he was our tech guy.
So Ben didn't have a chance, but he did read a little bit. So we'll do the full segment before the season finale. But Ben, give us a quick update.
Quick update. Well,
are you on like page 2, at least?
A little farther than that. I did read the foreword by Frank Darabont, who was pretty.
Talk about that.
Pretty.
If nothing else, let's talk about that.
He was excited.
Yeah, he seemed to be really into doing the show. At least this is
season 1.
Yeah, it was written right before they started filming season 2.
All right, so this book was written before the filming season 2, so he was still part of everything and very excited about progressing and continuing the show.
He said, I think it was in like 2005 that he read the first Walking Dead novel, or sometime back then, and he read a few of them, and then the next morning called
his manager,
who talked to, what is his name? Robert? Is it Robert Kirkman?
Yeah, Robert Kirkman, the creator of the comics.
So Robert, they Frank said that he wanted to do a show based off of this, and Robert was very intrigued by the fact that the guy who made The Green Mile and Shawshank Redemption wanted to do it because he thought those are good movies, and Frank knows what he's doing. And apparently he got other offers before, but they were all about, like, what if we put in huge zombie dogs or super zombies and
super zombies?
Yeah, pretty much. And
like
so
Resident Evil type stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so he was like, nope, hang it up, because Frank wanted a character-driven show based on the people, and the zombies weren't like the focus of the show.
Got it.
It's not about the zombies. And then it kind of happened after being rejected by many networks until AMC was brave enough to take them.
Well,
and
kudos to
then
AMC.
Frank Darabont left, or didn't really leave. I don't know. He's
Yeah, we
He's
don't
no
we
longer with the
don't we
show.
don't know the full story, but I mean, we'll continue to read this book. I mean, pick it up. It's great. It talks about the full season 1 completion. You know, from basically the comic book to screenplay to final completion.
There's a really cool picture in the end of it where Andrew Lincoln, who plays Rick, is sitting on a police car on the set of Atlanta, or what's supposed to be Atlanta, and the horse that was used in the pilot is sitting next to him, like on top of a pile of stuff. And that was interesting to me because I've never seen a horse sit down before. And that's why that's a cool picture.
Well, there you go. So it's got cool pictures.
Yeah.
So, but without further ado.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Thank you, Sir Richard.
Sir Richard, our announcer. So apparently there's...
Yeah, you should tell what you've been reading.
Well, I have been reading the fact that apparently people think Dale is going to be killed next episode.
False spoiler alert before you say things like that.
Why? What are they saying? Like, why do they think that?
They just... I don't know.
Maybe
He's
it
old.
is
He
in
can
this
go.
episode.
He's too much like Hershel.
But why?
Yeah, but
why next episode?
Yeah, I would kill. I'd rather have Dale than Hershel. No offense
Well,
to the
because
actor.
well, if you look at it, who caused all the problems and revealed a lot of secrets? Dale. In terms of Shane,
Right.
remember? And so in Shane's mind, Dale's got to go. Right? I mean,
No, sure. From Dale's point of view, yeah, he'd
No,
be happier without. I'm sorry. From Shane's point of view, he'd be happier with Dale not being there.
And I think we're. I mean, if Shane's basically 2 steps away from basically calling this ethnic cleansing, and so Dale's got to go.
Back to the
Back to
Third
the
Reich
Hitler
reference.
thing. Okay.
So no, that was a former Yugoslavia
Oh.
nod.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I think it would be a bad idea. Why? Because he, in more ways than one, he's the conscience of the piece.
Yeah.
And if you don't have that, I appreciate that because I think you want that as a counterpoint to all the other stuff.
Yeah, well, go talk to Shane because I don't think he really cares.
Well, but that's why I think it's great because you, in counterpoint to Shane.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what makes that conflict.
So you think story-wise, it's never going to happen?
Well, surely it could happen because that's the world they live in. Is that any one of them should be able to get killed? But that voice, that idea, they have these archetypes. He's the impulsive one. Rick is the guy that's more thoughtful and more legal and humanitarian in his approach. And then you got this guy. He's kind of like not really a Greek chorus so much, but he's the conscious of. He's the guy sitting up there going, "Is this who we really want to be as a people?"
Mm-hmm.
He's
we the people, for the people, by the people.
Well, I mean, that's what you want because that's the arguments.
Yeah.
Otherwise there's no context. There's no there's no far view. It's much more interesting when you have that because then you can put it in a
So the fans are wrong. This is never
No,
gonna
I don't
happen.
think they're wrong because, like I'm saying, he could absolutely be killed. But if you're missing that voice, then it's somewhere somebody has got to have that voice, that thought, that idea. Because otherwise, it's the same thing. On Star Trek, you always have. That's why you have Spock. You have that intellectual thing. You have that.
Certainly
it
it's gonna be
allows you to
Daryl.
have. No, it wouldn't be Daryl.
Who's also
Right.
kind of going on a rampage of his own.
Right. But you know, you do make the point that he and Hershel are similar, but I don't think Hershel's long for this show. I would rather have it be Dale.
I agree. What do we see for Daryl? Because he's going on a separate rampage.
Yeah, we saw him starting to come back to the group. See, I like Daryl being to me, he's the great guy. Because I like him being, I love him being the loner outside with the crossbow and stuff, and you know, kind of being on the periphery of the group, and sometimes being in, sometimes being out. I wish they'd do more with him though. For me, it didn't really do much to have him just yelling like crazy at Carol. I mean, I understood it, but I like him with the one-liners. I like him being the badass. I like him doing that kind of stuff. That's right. But I just would like to see more of him. I don't think they've really fleshed it out. And then I don't know what they're doing with Is it T-Bone?
Dog.
T-Dog? No,
T-Bone.
T-Dog? T-Dog, thank you.
Well, throw me a T-bone here.
Exactly. But that's my point. That actually, I made my own point. It's like, where is he? Bring him back so we can remind ourselves who he is. Have him be part of the story. Yeah. I loved having him in there, and also, I mean, he hasn't been in there for so long.
Contractual obligations to other shows, perhaps.
I don't know. Could be. But okay, so sticking more to predictions. Obviously, it looks like they're going to kill the kid. They brought him back to the farm. Dale is the one saying, we can't do this because, what kind of people are we going to be if we just kill this guy? Certainly there's no rule of law. There's no trial. There's no jury. So they're just going to kill him because they think they should. And he hasn't really done anything wrong. It's only on the idea that what he might do. Yeah. And when do we start killing people for what they might do?
Minority Report.
Well, that's true. But that's way in the future. And that didn't go over so well, if you recall.
Well, that's why they went back in the past and changed it. Ben, what are your thoughts?
Well, I wasn't really thinking ahead. I was kind of thinking in the past. And remembering in the end of Season 1, that scientist said something to Rick, and Rick never
revealed what it was, and we just blew it away.
Right. There was the black guy, whose name I believe was Morgan, who was going to kill his wife, maybe. And then there was Merle, who we thought might come back, and none of those loose ends were ever tied up. And this season's coming to an end pretty soon. So I think I'd be more surprised if they actually readdressed all those points at this time, instead of just kind of letting them be forgotten, like I'm sure they already are.
Well, what the CDC guys said to Rick, I think we're never gonna find like that.
No,
it was
that's gone.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's gone. Probably. What predictions did you get? Anything?
I think we're obviously gonna see the kids' people come back. I want to see a fight. I want to see a feud at the farm. Feud.
But with an external force, not just a feud between them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
That drives them off the damn farm. Like in Huckleberry Finn.
They've got to. I mean, the next season's got to be the next. Go to the next place, right?
Yeah, I mean, the season finale is going to be I think Shane's going to die.
No. Really?
That's where we're headed.
That's bold.
Shane's got to die. What's he going to do? Well, they're going to just let him off into the sunset by himself?
But who's going to be Rick's counterpart?
Oh, well, that's for them to figure out in Season 3.
It's going to be Glenn. He's going to rise to power.
Damn right.
That's right.
Him and his queen bee, Maggie.
All right. Well, as they say, Bing is for doing, and we just did it.
Damn right.
There we go. So we want to thank you for listening to an AfterBuzz TV podcast of Walking Dead Season 2, 18 Miles Out.
And go and tell your friends.
Yeah, and write us, let us know what you're thinking. Tell us what you thought about the guys in the field or whatever else you have on your mind. We appreciate you listening. On behalf of Phil Svitek, say bye. Phil?
Bye.
And Ben Motley. We'll see you later.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.